weeks. So would that mean possibly that if Tennessee, let's say, loses to Georgia, let's say Georgia goes to the SEC title game, and Alabama goes undefeated until that moment, except for the Tennessee loss, and then Alabama wins that game, could we see 3 SEC teams in the college football playoff? Or what about Ole Miss? What if Ole Miss goes undefeated all the way in, and let's say they defeat Georgia? Would you see Ole Miss, Georgia, and Tennessee getting in? I mean, a lot of possibilities for the SEC, and a lot of people who don't like the SEC probably throwing up in their mouths a little bit. Meanwhile, NBA starting tonight. We probably won't spend a lot of time on it because I don't know how big of audience we have for that. College basketball is going on. I know Alabama had a secret scrimmage with TCU, and at least score-wise, it didn't turn out too well for Alabama. They were down a couple of starters. But Brandon Miller had 33 points in that game. I'm telling you, Brandon Miller is going to be a thing for the University of Alabama this year. Alabama soccer, they move up to number 1 when it comes to women's soccer. Again, I'm not going to pretend to be the world's largest soccer player, but I think it's worth noting when a team from the state does take over the top spot in any poll, in any sport, really. And then, of course, the NFL. The NFL has been a lot of fun to watch these last few weeks, these first few weeks of the NFL season, I should say. And I was talking to Jeremy Jeffcoat here at the station right before the show about how much more fun it feels like the NFL is this year. Now, the best 2 quarterbacks, in my opinion, played each other on Sunday when you had Josh Allen taking on Patrick Mahomes of Bills and Chiefs, and that game was a ton of fun to watch. And both those guys are just so interesting. The sidearms, Josh Allen, as big a man as he is, hurdling people, trying to get those extra yards. That was a lot of fun to watch that game. The Dolphins and Vikings was a fun game. I was able to watch that one too. And then, of course, the Eagles and Cowboys. You had Jalen Hurts still leading the undefeated Eagles. They're the only undefeated team left in the entire NFL. Major League playoffs are still going on. Yankees won earlier today. Phillies and Padres going on tonight. Isn't it kind of interesting? I mean, boy, Saturday was a bad day in the state of Alabama for just about every single fan. At my house, there was a little get-together because I'll be turning 50 this coming Sunday. And so we wanted to have some people over and just let everybody watch games. And Alabama lost. So we had a bunch of Alabama fans there. We had a few Auburn fans there. Auburn lost. 70% of the people there, if they were baseball fans, they were Braves fans. The Braves lost. We also had a Mississippi State fan there. Mississippi State lost. So anybody that was at my house Saturday to watch a game of any description left sorely disappointed. But regardless, it was a fabulous college football weekend. Utah and USC played an amazing game, 43-42, Utah coming out on top. So everything seems to be very topsy-turvy. LSU goes into Gainesville and gets a double-digit win at a time when we thought maybe LSU was about to hit the skids. Just a really, really interesting season. How about Arkansas going all the way to Provo, Utah, and getting a big win over BYU? I don't know if a lot of people saw that coming, but this Arkansas team is not completely dead just yet. And, of course, they have a bye week this week as well as Auburn, and those two meet up at 11 o'clock in about a week and a half. So that'll be a lot of fun down on the plains. Let's go ahead and take our first break. Hopefully when we come back, Brett Pritchard will be able to join me. We'll be back in just a minute with more Sportz Blitz Live.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our best rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Don't be caught in a dirty vehicle. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing will have your vehicle or boat looking like brand new in no time, and you'll be back driving in style. They specialize in detailing, paint correction, gel coat restoration, and ceramic coating. Take it to the professionals at Lake Martin Mobile Detailing. Call them today at 256-794-2328 or stop by and see them at 702 McCarty Road in Dadeville. Mention this ad and receive $10 off. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing for your cleanest vehicles around.
Harold Orthodontics of Alex City has one simple mission: provide the region's most advanced diagnostic technology for you and your family's orthodontic and air passageway needs. At Harold Orthodontics, it's not just beautiful smiles, but revolutionary options for your family's orthodontic needs, as well as sleep apnea and jaw joint disorder relief. Dr. Harold and his caring staff provide the most accurate diagnosis to relieve the pain or frustration of sleep apnea and TMJ discomfort. Trust Harold Orthodontics. Call for a consultation at 256-234-6353.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
Kia of Auburn invites you to see our great selection of vehicles. The Kia brand offers something for everyone at almost any budget. Multi-purpose vehicles like the Carnival, Sportage, Sorrento, or Telluride. You prefer a sedan? Check out the Rio, Forte, Soul, or the sporty Stinger. Looking for fuel efficiency? We have many hybrids to choose from, and even our amazing electric EV models. No matter which Kia model you choose, you'll receive remarkable performance along with our outstanding warranty. Kia of Auburn, where you are always number one.
That's called sitting down and the camera turns on, right?
You ain't got any time to fluff up or nothing.
I have no time to do anything, catch my breath, whatever. So glad to have everybody here. Look, I'll let you just keep talking. I'll try to kind of get worked into the show here. Hey, my fault. Had a meeting, so it runs a little bit late.
We've all been there. So anyway, we were talking about the big weekend. I called in the Auburn Blitz earlier today, and I said, you know, we can talk about. It's depressing. First of all, I said what was funny.
Yeah, you're right. You called in the right show to be depressed.
No, yeah, no. But this weekend, a little get-together at the house, we had Auburn fans, we had Bama fans, we had Mississippi State fans, we had Braves fans. Everybody lost.
And everybody was just
I said, I hope nobody had a school board that they remember they were voting for today because you lost everything.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
But anyway, I called in Auburn Blitz and said, actually, you know what's the only good thing about Alabama and Auburn losing on the same day is it is good for business. I mean, because the phone lines lit up.
I'd rather it not be.
I agree. I'm
a
just
little
saying
bit. I like business to be good too.
Yeah.
So
it is. But it's interesting because it always does bring out the opinions.
Well, you know, I'm gonna get settled in right here, and I know we got a lot to talk about. High school, college, pro, everything going on. There is a bunch of stuff to talk about. We want to hear from you, 256-234-6221. I hate to roll in on the two wheels, but, you know, again, apologize for missing that first segment because I had a little meeting that ran late, but important stuff going on there as well. Alabama, obviously, loses to Tennessee. Luke, I'm pretty sure you covered that in your intro. Auburn loses to Ole Miss. Two totally different games. We'll discuss both of those. Some interesting things going on in the SEC all the way around. If you're a Braves fan, like Luke said, that didn't last very long. Your return to the World Series was abruptly ended in the divisional series, and hate that because you basically won one postseason game and then got swept after that by the Phillies, who are red hot. And, you know, kind of been my argument about baseball, and I love the Braves. Glad they won another division title. The Phillies finished third in that division to the Mets and the Braves, and both of them are gone. And the Phillies are in the championship series. That's the way the playoffs go. That's the way baseball is.
No, it's not always been that way. It's only been that way recently, and that's what I'm worried about when it comes to college football playoff expansion. And everybody, I mean, Brett, I drove in from South Carolina today, and I drove to South Carolina yesterday, so I got to hear a lot, right? All of these national pundits going, what about, look at this year. What if Alabama wins out and Georgia wins out except for the SEC title game, and then Tennessee only has lost to Georgia? You're going to let 3 SEC teams in? That's why you got to have expanded playoffs. And I'm like, guys, this is the anomaly. Last year we were having trouble finding 4 good ones.
Yeah,
so
it's
different.
it's going to vary year to year, I think. I will say as a pro to that, I would rather have more because even in the years you don't have enough, in the years that you do have more than enough, then you at least let some more teams in and they have a legit shot at it. I'm okay with that. Here's my qualm with baseball. Braves were dominant and the Mets were dominant. You should have no problem winning a 5-game series. Hey, look, I don't feel sorry for the Braves. I'm a huge Braves fan, and I've seen the tweets and I've seen people commenting about, well, they need to favor the teams that had a better year. I mean, look, man, I get it. They won 100 games, but would 2 more games, a 2-more-game series made a difference? I'm not sure that it would have. Right now, the Braves ran their 2 best guys out there, and they got shelled. It's on them. They didn't hit the ball. And the Braves were a sporadic team. They were either an all-or-nothing team the way they hit this year. Now, they hit it more than they didn't hit it, but when you get in these series, Luke, you're vulnerable to that. And, look, everybody that made the playoffs probably deserved to be there in Major League Baseball. Are some of the names that we're used to seeing there now? No. The Dodgers, look, the Dodgers have been underachieving for the last 5 or 6 years. They have the best roster in baseball. They always win the most games in baseball, and they get to the playoffs and they fall on their face. I don't feel sorry for the LA Dodgers. Look, again, I would love to have the Braves go back. I was already planning to try to go back to the World Series this year. Not going to happen. Phillies are playing good. The Padres are playing out of their mind. They made some good decisions at the trade deadline to pick up some big hitters. It paid off for them in that Dodgers series. So we'll end up seeing how that goes. I do think it's a little bit different on the football side because in baseball you got a series. You lose 1 game, it's like, okay, we can come back. Braves had 3 opportunities, Luke, and they couldn't make it happen. In football, you don't. It's you go to the playoffs, you lose, you out. So I do see there's a difference there.
Yeah, I've come to accept we're going to have this expansion, and we're probably going to have it sooner rather than later. But I think the more important thing is, just talking about this past weekend, it was 8 ranked teams on the road, and only one of the 8 won. And the one that won, I think that was Clemson that was on the road at Florida State. Now that game was tight for a while.
Yeah, it was.
Now Clemson ended up pulling away, but it was a great college football weekend. I'm a huge Alabama fan. I was disappointed in the game. Got a lot of thoughts on it, but overall, it was a great college football weekend. As
it was lined up. I mean, the games were unreal. I mean, what was at stake, and and again, I've got my opinion on how this thing's going to end up finishing out anyway. Tennessee's probably not even going to make it to the SEC championship game because I don't think they get past the hurdle in Athens. If they do, they got to play Alabama again. It's hard to beat a team twice. It'll be on a neutral field. It'll be a totally different environment. Here's what I am getting sick of, and this is going to include all of us, okay? This is not aimed at Alabama fans. It's not aimed at Auburn fans. It's not aimed at Tennessee fans. We are in a jockeying position all over social media to screenshot every bad call that was missed by every team. I've seen Tennessee. I saw a post where there were 12 potential missed calls against Alabama. On the flip side, I've seen a post where Alabama fan screenshot 5 or 6 instances and circled it and said he was here when this all happened. I saw it in the Auburn game. People, look, this goes on, and calls are magnified when it's a close football game. When it comes down to a field goal at the end, and I've heard you tell me this several times, and it may not be necessarily aimed at Auburn. Here's my argument with Alabama fans. Okay, you had the ball, and you drove down with a chance to kick a field goal and win the game, and you didn't do it. And, and so all of the stuff that happened in the game, you still had the ball there to kick, a pretty good kicker, guy that's really kind of.
He's been bad the last 2 weeks.
Well,
but
yeah, but he's been better than most Alabama.
Oh yeah,
kickers
he's been fantastic.
So maybe he's got the yips a little bit, but had the opportunity to do that, and then you allow Tennessee to come down and get the ball down in territory to where they even have enough time to kick a field. They didn't even go to overtime. Look, I know there were some bad calls in the game, both ways. I get it. The pass interference, we can sit there and talk about that all day long. Thought the guy picked the pass, always run down, all of a sudden the flag. Hey, look, there was calls in the Iron Bowl last year. I thought maybe there was a holding penalty that didn't get called on the last drive. Didn't work out. Here's my thought on that. Why didn't we stop them? They started on their own 5-yard line, and that's what I argued with Auburn fans about last year. Yeah, I would have loved the referees to have thrown the flag on, when T.D. Moultrie got held, in my opinion. They didn't do it. If they'd have thrown it, the game would have been over. It would have been a safety. Alabama would have had to punt the football, and we'd have taken a knee and ended the game. It didn't happen, but we had an opportunity to stop Alabama. They had to go the field. They had to score a touchdown to win the daggum game or send it to overtime, and we couldn't stop them.
And I have no problem with all that. I've been saying that since the dawn of time. I also have no problem saying this particular officiating crew, now that I've found out more about them, they're the ones that did the Bo Nix reverse spike, and they missed it. They also were the crew that did Alabama A&M last year, and they threw Malachi Moore out, second play of the game, on a much less egregious targeting call than what Bryce faced this past weekend. And I just say this crew's just not – they're inept. I'm not saying they were bought off. I'm not saying anybody paid anybody.
What about the targeting call that Auburn had in the
Penn State game? But now I'm just saying this particular.
I know, but there's so many examples.
And that's why the Auburn one from Penn State last year,
and the Mississippi State game last year where you got thrown out.
The Auburn one from last year, Penn State, I thought was pretty clearly not targeting, but this one for Tennessee, I mean, if that's not targeting. Randy, who's a cohort of ours, was at my house. And a lot of Alabama fans that were there were upset about it. I said, they're going to fix this. This is going to get fixed because he was obviously targeting. And then when they come back from commercial break, you hear Gene Steratore sort of giving this, well, he kind of led with his shoulder. And I'm like, look, if that's not targeting, let's just quit calling it. I'm fine if we quit calling it, but if y'all really are worried about safety, then you need to preach safety.
Here's my problem with targeting. Nobody still knows what it is. I mean, every single week.
We don't know what pass interference is
either. It's a drama fest every week where you have a play. It happened the first play of the game at Ole Miss. Derek Hall could have potentially been. Now it didn't help any that he stayed in the game, but he is one of Auburn's better defenders. And it was when they showed the review. Thank goodness they got it right. But they throw a flag, and it's targeting. He could have been out on the first play of the daggum game.
That's the thing. It's a crapshoot, and it is so that's why, Brett, I'm all for – see, everybody loves to say, we got to have review because we got to get the call right. In my humble opinion, if they have review, that interception that Kool-Aid-McKinstry has is an interception.
Right.
And again – but if we're
going to review, we need to review them all.
Let's just review them all. So my opinion is let's review none of them. Let's let the game have its own natural flow because the games are already going so long. I mean, they take forever. And if we start reviewing all these other judgmental calls, we'll be there forever. And then, Brett, on top of it all, this particular crew had no idea what down it was. Not like what is third or fourth. They didn't know what down it was at all. And they had to use my DVR player to go back and check and see if have we done 4 downs, because the guy wearing Tennessee Volunteer underwear, the guy holding the stick, he said third down, and that's just what it is. And they said, no, we think it's fourth down. He's like, it's third down. It's right. It's clear as day. And when the officials they can't count to 4. They just don't need to be do the Vandy, Missouri game if you want to. Don't let them do the biggest game on CBS.
And I want to flash back to a game just a few years ago in Jordan-Hare where Auburn had LSU beat, and 2 of the absolute dead worst pass interference calls were called against Auburn and gave them 30 yards of field position, enough to where LSU went down and kicked the field goal and won the dadgum football game. And came to find out, I'm not going to mention who the guy was, it got so bad that people hunted that guy down. They found out he lives here in the state of Alabama, didn't live not too far from here. actually. And they were like, we about to go to his house. He cost them the game. It got that bad. But I'm going to tell you something, man. It was so bad. I was there. I was at the game. You almost couldn't believe that they made the call the first time and it was bad, and the second one was even worse.
Well, and that part of it is what's scary to me, because I've also been a big proponent of officials, because here's the other thing. We have so many camera angles that when we see it the third or fourth time on TV before they run the next play, we're like, well, how'd that idiot call that? And they don't have that many angles. They got to do everything bang, bang, right, typically. So I'm usually on the side of the officials, and I'm like, look, players, running backs fumble, quarterbacks throw picks, defensive backs get toasted, linemen miss blocks. So why can't the official miss a call or two? I'm down with that. I am. But I am not down with I think there's something.
You want me to tell you what I think?
Well, let me just get there's something, again, I am not blaming, and as Alabama fans have had it pretty good, so it's hard to complain about much. But I do think there's something inherently wrong when the officials can't count to 4 and one team has 17 penalties, the other team has 6. Can't do anything about false starts. Nobody's complaining about that. Can't do it. When Will Anderson his opponent has not been called for a hold all year, there's something wrong with that. There's something wrong with that.
All right, here's what I think needs to happen in officiating. We have all this money, billions of dollars that we have in college football, but we don't pay our officials.
No, we don't.
That way. We're expecting to two-bit pay them to go out there and decide these contests that everybody puts all this money. You sent a text out and you said, and I said, well,
there's a lot of money at stake.
I said, well, you said first I had never seen a game called that bad, and I said I did yesterday, and you said no, this one's bigger because it had more money on it.
That's true.
I said that's their stupidity for putting their money on it. Look,
No, it wasn't a gamble. I'm talking about from potentially going to the playoffs.
Well, I understand that too.
I wasn't talking about gambling.
Well,
at
I
all.
understand that. There's a lot of money, but there was a lot of money placed on it too.
Well, I know, but I
gamble.
had nothing to do with that.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is you're paying officials a very minuscule amount of money. If it's so important and you want to try to get the best and you want to encourage people to take the next step and take a leap to take this job that's very thankless, if anything, their lives are at stake a lot of times when they miss things, then pay them like that. We don't have a problem paying everybody else in this country for entertainment, but we want to pay the officials, the people that are actually conducting the order of the game. We just want to throw them a bone. And people, I've had some kids ask me, so, well, what do SEC officials make? I said, not what you probably think.
No, not even close. And in fact, Brett, I would advocate for at least big-time college football. Okay, D3 probably can't do this, and I don't even know if there's a D3. FCS can't do this, where they will get lesser officials. Just like I bet you that in some high school instances, Hoover Thompson's going to get better officials than some 1A games. That's probably the way it works. And again, I think we can all live with that a little bit, right? And so if you're a big SEC game or a big Ten game, why can't we say, or a conference, why can't we just say, we're going to have full-time year-round, we're going to pay these officials a salary. And so even when it's not football season, when it's not football season, we're training you. Because
I'm totally agreeing with
Brett,
that.
The other thing, after Kool-Aid's interception, the flag comes out egregiously late. And then so we all thought it came out so late, everybody's like, this has got to be a block in the back. And they said, pass interference on the return. And I was like, why would you even say on the return? That didn't even make sense. You meant to say block in the back, or did you meant to say not say the other part?
Right.
And they were just so bad throughout the game. But again, I want to go back to the first part of it. In the end, you're right. Alabama controlled its own destiny with it.
Right.
And they blew it.
Right.
And I have no problem saying that. I am not saying officials cost them a game. I never think that, because I think we all take our turns over the barrel.
I think you do.
But at the same time, I'm saying that that this particular crew, now they have a history of ineptness.
Well, then they need to address it.
I agree.
That's the thing. If it persists and continues to be bad, then maybe they don't need to be officiating anymore. And if that's all they can find out there, then we're all in trouble. And I'll go back to a year where Alabama, either 2011, 2012, the amount of – they had great teams both years. And Alabama won national championships both years. But the amount of holding, the amount of non-holding calls on Alabama as a team, one of those years, I can't remember what it was. It's an absurd, least amount of holds.
Well,
that you
and
would
I'm
go.
fine with that.
You're like, man, there's no way. And look, I'm gonna throw this out there. Again, I'm big in high school football. I'm I'm at a game every Friday night. There was a place. I'm not gonna. People can go ahead and derive the game I'm talking about, but there were 15 penalties to 1 in a game that was decided by a touchdown on the other team's field. Now, come on, man. Look, in high school, college, and pro, I know the level you're supposed to get better and a little bit better as far as your technique and stuff, and maybe you don't have as many penalties. There's no way, Luke, in a high school football game, one team only gets 1 penalty, and it came with 2 minutes to go in the game, and it was a false start. So they had to call it. The guy moved 2 yards upfield, and it's like, okay, I got to call that one. But they were 2 minutes away from not even being penalized, and the other team got 15.
And again, we have this same conversation in basketball, but just like you're talking about that particular year in 11, you know how many holding calls have been called on Alabama's opponents this year? 1. You know how many pass interference have been called on Alabama's opponents? 3, 2 of them against Vanderbilt when Alabama was up 40. So I'm just saying, and one of them against Tennessee this past weekend.
Look,
which was interference.
Right. And again, I go back to the Texas game for Alabama. You know, there was a bunch of Texas fans screenshotting stuff of things that didn't call in that game. The whether it was a safety or intentional grounding or Bryce Young or in the end zone or whatever it is. My point is, I brought this whole conversation up, and we got to get to break, is that we can do this every week. When your team's in a blowout, either positive or negative, a missed call is not that important. It's not magnified. When it's in a close game, every call is magnified.
Well, and the other thing, Brett, I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around. And again, as I've said, calls get missed all the time. Just that same Texas game, there's screenshots the other way. But how does this crew get the best game in the SEC this week when they've already – even if you miss a call like the Bo Nix reverse spike, you'd be like, okay, you can still ref, but you're relegated to Missouri, Florida, Vandy, Tennessee, something like that. You can't do the biggest game anymore. You cannot do it.
Ask the head of officials.
But that's my point is, are we so hurting for officials that we've got to have these dudes? Is that
I can honestly say in high school we are.
I know we are in high school.
But this precipitous. It flows up.
Well,
again, quit. There's a couple of ways to fix this problem, in my opinion. Number one, increase their pay.
That's key.
Because who in the heck wants to put themselves in that position?
Nobody.
Me and you are set up here for 15 minutes and talked about how bad they are, and we're so mad that we're about to drive to somebody's house.
But the thing is, Brett, at the same time, we're also saying, okay, y'all are bad, but we know we need people like you.
That's exactly
and we
right.
want to pay you more, but you got to do better than this.
So,
see, it's hard for me to advocate a raise for that crowd.
You won't give them a raise. You fire them, and somebody out there that's waiting in the wings that's probably a good official will take the step to come in and say, okay, for that I will take the brunt. I will take the burden of calling some of these games.
To me, it's a lot like, look, you hate to put it this way and make it so simplistic, but it's a lot like police, right? I mean, like,
They are the police during the game.
But I know, I'm for paying, but you hear all these awful stories. Everybody's supposed to hate the police, and I'm like, hey, but we need these guys.
What happens how well did that work out in the big cities on this?
It hadn't worked.
The defund the police campaigns. All of a sudden, the ones that were chanting defund the police were the ones calling, needing the help.
Maybe we call our own fouls. Let's see how that works out.
Defund the officials.
No, but that's the thing. That's what's so funny is we don't want to defund them. We literally want to give you more money, but you got to do better than that. You got to count to 4.
To get a better pool of people to pick from, you got to increase.
You got to
the
count to
salary.
4.
And you got I'd even be in retiring. You may have some guys that are in their 40s, or 50s that would love to. They love the game. They said, "Look, I'd love to be involved. I'd like to be on the field." What does it take? Oh, by the way, we'd like for you to call this huge game this week. We're going to pay you $15,000 to do it. I don't even think it's that much. I don't even think it's near that much. We're going to pay you X number of dollars to do this game. But by the way, hey, you're on your own. When you blow a call and there's 97,000 people ready to jump out of the stands and kill you. I mean, you're on your own when you get death threats on social media. This is how crazy it is, and I know we got to go to break. I know a guy, and again, I'm not going to mention names. He's an SEC official. He called games, and on Monday or Tuesday, he was putting drinks in a drink machine at Central Alabama Community College because that's part of his job. He works for a beverage company. And it's like, look, dude, I saw you calling the game on Saturday. I think it was a Florida game. And he's like, yeah, that was, and we had a conversation about it. And I'm like, I walked back to my office. I'm like, that guy called a huge game on Saturday.
That
and
people take real seriously.
He's an everyday guy that has a job that feeds his family. That job as an SEC official doesn't feed his family.
Oh, and I promise you, when we come back from break, we're going to dissect other things about all these games. But I did want to throw out one more thing. It is ironic. It just dawned on me. I coach my 6-year-old soccer team, right? And this past weekend,
the officiating suck in that game too?
Well, for the 6-year-old, it's kindergartners, first graders. My daughter's a kindergartner, and they made it abundantly clear to us coaches, don't engage in the official unless you're telling him what a great job he's doing. Just don't even look at him, don't do anything. Well, my team, we've been together for a while. Like, they're all friends, and they're all pretty good. And the other team had this little prodigy, but then not much else. And so I finally realized, let's just guard her and not worry about the rest of them. And we ended up winning.
Genius coaching.
It was. Well, I mean, I'm a soccer savant. But so the other coach, who I ended up knowing, but I forgot I knew him. That's how old I'm getting. Anyway, he came up to the official afterwards and just berating him, saying, like, this is why you should always call a foul because, look, you made my little girl cry. And I went up to the official. I said, dude, first of all, I don't care if I know him or not. You don't have to take any of this from me. Because the official, you know what he was? 15-year-old kid. Because he's a volunteer. He's not getting paid at all.
Right.
He's just volunteering out there.
Get what you
and
get.
he looked at me like, what am I supposed to do? I said, buddy, you did the best you could do. Because the other coach was like, that's a handball. And I'm like, yeah, it's a handball. You know why? They're 6. If you kick a ball at their face, guess what they're going to do? This. Because they're not worried about heading it. And I said, you got to
We lose perspective.
It is.
You lose perspective and you forget. And look, I've been involved in Little League sports where you got kids out there calling games and you get caught in the moment and you go, man, that poor kid's like,
did you hear about the
if
guy
he had aspirations to be an official down the road, he doesn't
anymore. Did you hear
anymore.
about the kid in Pensacola? So his dad said he was getting bullied. There was a blocking drill. They were going mano a mano. And his dad saw his son getting pummeled every time. So he went out there, threw his son down, put his son's helmet down, and just bullied right through the other kid, and now he's arrested. Now, they'd have to arrest 2 of us because I would have killed him.
I was about to say, that's just an idiot.
Yeah, that's
just somebody that's a total buffoon. How about you kids playing football? That's what you do.
It's okay to get mauled.
That's what happens. And you know what you either decide to do? You decide to get tougher and not get mauled anymore or quit.
Or play pickleball.
Or do something else. That's right. I've had a text from my wife said we need to take a breath. So we're going to take a break. How about that? Stay tuned. More Sportz Blitz Live right after this.
22 years selling the best brands. Opelika RV Center, Highway 280 Opelika, or shop us online 24/7 at opelikarv.com.
You won't believe the deals you receive at Opelika RV.
Growing your business isn't just one thing. It's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local cat dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done, day after day. Visit ThompsonCat.com, their compact equipment provider.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto, central to you. Central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
Looking for an attorney you can trust for your real estate closings? Wisdom Law Firm at Lake Martin has you covered. Your real estate transactions are fast, convenient, and professional every step of the way. Wisdom Law is certified and licensed by the American Land and Title Association and approved by all local lenders. Visit Wisdom Law Firm at 6366 Highway 49 in Dadeville or at their Auburn location at 2353 Bent Creek Road. No communication concerning a lawyer's legal services shall be published or broadcast unless it contains the following language, which shall be clearly legible or audible as the case may be. No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center provides optimum care for the whole person. Dr. Dimo Popov specializes in the prevention and diagnosis of high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and acute and chronic conditions. Our weight loss clinic offers lipo shots and a guide to healthy weight loss. Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center, where lifestyle changes are made.
For more than 40 years, Ingram Equipment Company has helped companies, towns, and cities with their dirtiest, most challenging jobs by providing the very best equipment and by helping them keep in tip-top working condition. IEC represents leading manufacturers such as Heil garbage truck bodies, Timco sweepers, Step pothole patchers, and many more. We proudly support all athletes and teams that compete across the state and wish them good luck this year. Ingram Equipment Company, ingramequipment.net.
22 years selling the best brands. Opelika RV Center, Highway 280 Opelika, or shop us online 24/7 at opelikaRV.com.
You won't believe the deals you receive at Opelika RV.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sportz Blitz Live, presented by JR's Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Let's go to the phone lines.
All right, this is Potluck. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Luke. Hey, Brett. How y'all doing tonight?
What's
Terry,
up?
what's up, bro?
We got a triple dose of Terry today.
Hey, Brett. The next time somebody talks about that defund the police, ask them this question I've always asked you. I've always asked, if you need you need a police report to collect on your insurance policy, right? If there's no police, how are you going to collect?
Yeah,
that always throws them a curveball, and they never can answer it. So, But Luke, was that you earlier today talking about on the Auburn Blitz, talking about coaches and the longevity, that how it used to be longer, give them 3 or 4 years?
No. Well, what I was saying was a previous caller had said that hey, Harsin hadn't been there that long, and my point is, 10 years ago that argument was very good. You need 3 or 4 years to get your players in and develop them. But now with the transfer portal, those days are done. You don't have
transfer
time.
portal, Luke, sorry about that, but transfer portal along with guys, let's just be honest, with the weight training and nutrition the way it is in high school, guys are just more ready to play out of high school now more than ever.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah, it's changed, no doubt.
I mean,
I can't believe we're sitting here on October the 19th talking about Brian Harsin still being the coach at Auburn.
Well, look, Terry, I think that it – well, again, I've thought some other things are foregone conclusions, and they haven't been. But I think it would be the biggest shock of the year if Brian Harsin is retained. Now, is there some other reason, like something about a caveat in the transfer portal about guys potentially leaving if they fire a coach midseason? I don't know. And
that was mentioned today.
That was mentioned. But, I mean, if you're Auburn, I'd be like, okay, go on then. I mean, we got to do what's best for Auburn.
Right.
Now, Terry, I am with you. What has to be done eventually has to be done immediately. I would let Harsin go right this minute. He doesn't want to be there any more than you want him there. That's the way it looks on TV.
Absolutely.
He is bent over like he's going to throw up.
You don't want it to be there, Luke and Brett. I really don't.
Well, here's the thing. Until you stop signing these just absurd contracts with these buyouts in it, you stuck a little bit. I think if Auburn didn't have – and again, I think it's not going to make a dime's difference if they fire him now or into the season. I get that, and I think that's going to end up what's happening here with Harsin. But quit signing guys and giving them these absurd buyouts. I mean, we need to go back a little bit. Somebody's going to have to take a step back to say, look, we want you here. Like Jimbo Fisher, Texas A&M, I know I've heard all the arguments, well, if anybody can buy anybody out, it's Texas A&M. It's the principle of the matter that you're going to pay somebody $86 million to walk away. It's so stupid. You know how much what you can do with $86 million, and you're going to pay a guy to walk away and not work. They got to put an end to it. They got to just start telling these coaches, hey, look, we're going to give you a 3 or 4 year contract, and we're going to give you a decent buyout, but we're not giving you the daggum keys to the university.
Yeah, $86 million, I can do a lot of walking.
Well, hey, look, Terry, people tell me to leave without paying me anything all the time.
Exactly. So I just never understood it, guys. I'm with you, Brett. I agree 100% with both of y'all. That the contracts are so absurd, but you know what? I blame a lot of this on the power brokers, which are the agents, the Jimmy Sextons of the world.
Well, they've allowed them to control.
They're demanding this.
They've allowed them to control the sport.
Do you remember how dumb we all thought it was that Steve Spurrier was getting $1 million a year
Unbelievable.
in the mid-90s?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a laugher. All right, thanks, Terry. We got to get to go.
See you, buddy.
Got
Thank you.
call there.
Yeah. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You with us?
Oh, I didn't know you were on.
Yeah, we've
been on. I mean,
we didn't know you were on.
If you're calling us, you know we're on.
I thought y'all were still calling that other guy.
Don't listen to your TV. Hey, let me put a disclaimer out there. Everybody that calls in, and this is not being mean to anybody, cut your TV down. Do not listen to your TV. Listen to us through the phone. Okay, now go.
Okay. I just want to ask you a question.
Ask away.
Is this Helena Benjamin Russell game Friday night for the home field advantage?
It is for home field advantage. You're exactly right. The winner of that game. Now, Benjamin Russell's already in. Helena's not. If Helena loses, they're out. But if they win, they're the 2 seed. That's the odd thing. If Benjamin Russell wins, it looks like we'll be the 2 seed. So that means a home field game.
But they're still in the playoffs. Helena is.
No, they're not. They're not in the playoffs. They need to win the game Friday, which I hope they don't. But they need to win the game Friday to be in.
Okay. I was wondering about that because I thought that game would be for the home field advantage.
It is. And it's also true home field advantage. Like, you go home because there is no more season.
You can't have any more advantage than having it in your living room.
Yeah. Still, Luke, he said he's going to be 50, but he's a whole lot younger than I am.
Yeah, boy, I am. I'm going to be 50 Sunday, so let's see how it works out. I hope good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, I'll make it.
He needs those officials to miss a down. So
Yeah,
he can go back a year.
Yeah, oh, no, they sped up my demise, I can tell you that. Thanks for the phone call, bud.
I'm glad to talk to y'all.
I appreciate your call.
We got another caller.
Yeah, okay, we got to get it.
Caller, you're on there. Go ahead.
Luke.
Yes.
Andy Gothard.
Andy Gothard, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing well. I'm sitting in my home watching y'all's show tonight for some strange reason.
Well,
and
we were hoping you were going to say it's the best thing on TV.
Well, congratulations to you guys. Listen, I want to bring up one play in the Tennessee game that nobody is talking about.
Okay.
Would you mind?
Go ahead.
And that's the grabbing by the Tennessee defensive back against Jermaine Burton.
What the point of the game was it?
It's fourth quarter.
Okay.
And we catch him in man-to-man. We run a slant to Jermaine, and the Tennessee defensive back hooks him.
I would have to go back and see it. I don't remember that particular play, but again, you know.
Well, Gary Daniels says it can't be pass interference. It was uncatchable. That was his reason.
Well, a lot of times,
you know, what's so holding.
Yeah, you can get holding, and a lot of times, what's so funny about that is only uncatchable if you're interfered with.
Yeah. Well, here's the trick to it. The official is looking right at it. Jermaine Burton is complaining when he gets hooked. Anytime a defensive back inhibits a receiver past a 5-yard zone of the line of scrimmage, it's a penalty.
Yeah, that's right.
But we all know that there's so much hand fighting that goes on.
This was not hand fighting. He grabs them around the waist.
It happens on almost every single crossing pattern. When a defensive back is in man coverage. Look, I'm not defending it. I'm just saying you can run tape of NFL and college games all day, and every single one of those defensive backs is going to have a hand wrapped around the receiver's waist, and they never call it. They never call it.
Well, this was so blatant because it got him off his route.
Yeah, and that,
I get
that
it.
can certainly throw off a
And
route.
it wasn't a good pass, but it doesn't have to be a good pass for that to be a penalty.
Andy, I don't know if you are like I am, but I rewatch all the victories. It's a hard thing for me to rewatch the losses, and so I haven't had the stomach yet. The only thing I've been able to rewatch is some of the highlights, and even then, I still want to throw up in my mouth a little bit. But it is what it is. 15 out of 16
I was
ain't
gonna
bad,
say, y'all
right?
had 15.
I'm sorry?
I said 15 out of 16 ain't bad, though, right?
Well, it isn't, but I just hate to see those guys play so hard and have it be taken out of their hands.
No, and look, I agree with you. And that was our whole argument is that, it seems like officiating for the most part has gone downhill, and it should be better. And, I mean, this goes all the way up to
every team.
This all goes up all the way to the NFL. It's just a thing. But, Andy, we got to go to break, buddy. I appreciate the phone call. Thank you for watching, my man.
Listen, enjoyed it, and good luck to you guys.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And I'm not – what I'm about to say – I know we got to get a break, I know, but I got to say this. And I'm not being a jerk about this, but it's probably going to come off that way. So I'm giving a disclaimer. And Jerry has a good comment here. I mean, we can nitpick everything. Now, look, Texas A&M threw the play call against Alabama at the end of the Texas A&M game was horrible because he didn't even go into the end zone. All right, so if you caught the daggum thing, what did you do? Oh, you ended the game at the 1. All right, but there was a lot of people, even Alabama fans that I've talked to, said, "Man, I think we got away with one right there."
Well, it was tipped.
Well,
and if it's tipped, you can interfere.
If it's tipped,
yeah.
Was it tipped?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was tipped.
Yeah, Will Anderson tipped it.
Okay. Well, then that diminishes that whole argument.
But anyway.
But a lot of times, anyway, on that man reverse, like when there's a back shoulder throw that's coming, I'm not saying that it's right. I'm just saying that you can run tape after tape against guys running across the middle of the field when it's man coverage, and you can see the natural instinct is to wrap arm and then reach around with the other arm to knock the ball away.
There's no
doubt. It's just the way it goes. And look, I mean, it happens to every team.
And look, again, we've all had our turn over the barrel. I guess I think it's at the same time it's also fair to ask. Alabama has only had 15 penalties in the game once ever.
Right.
Now we've had 15 penalties once this year and 17
Well,
penalties
here's what I
once this year.
thought was going to happen when Tennessee, literally gift wrapped a touchdown for y'all when they went back there and the ball just rolled back there and y'all scooped it up and ran in. I'm like, well, Alabama's going to win by 2 touchdowns now. But
They
Tennessee actually went down and scored a touchdown on the next drive and kind of kept fighting.
And let's also say this. Well, we said we were going to do this when we come back. So let's do it when we come back.
All right, we'll do it when we come back. Stay tuned. More Sportz Blitz Live right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Hey, honey, it's Mom. Just wanted to call and check in, see how everything's going. You'll probably say not to worry. Everything is great. But we miss you. I'll call you back later.
No. Everything's great. I love it here.
Hi, I'm Scott Blake.
I'm Angie Richardson, and we are the loan team here at Movement Mortgage.
Whether you're a first-time home buyer or you've gone through the process before,
Our mission is to help you move forward with the purchase of your future plans. Call me at 256-397-2771.
or call me at 256-794-1003.
Scott Blake, NMLS number 527945. Angie Richardson, NMLS number 216556. Movement Mortgage supports equal housing opportunity, NMLS number 39179. For licensing information, please visit NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
This is Joseph Dean with Alabama Funeral Homes. As many of you are aware, we had a fire that significantly damaged our facilities. We are in the process of getting those rebuilt. We apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused the families that we serve. I want you to know that we are capable of handling all of your needs at Frederick Dean Funeral Home of Opelika, which will be servicing Alabama Funeral Homes families. We can be reached at our same number, 256-896-4502, or by email at joseph@alabamafuneralhomes.com.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense.
Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
Hey guys, this is Nate Pass with Airport Motors.
I'm Connor Branch with Fairway Auto Brokers in Opelika, Alabama.
And this is your first ever Lake Martin Summer Car Blitz.
That's right, Lake Martin. Airport Motors and Fairway Auto Brokers is teaming up for the very first Lake Martin Summer Car Blitz. Make sure to check out either website for the very best selection of pre-owned luxury trucks, SUVs, and sedans in East Alabama. Get pre-approved in minutes online and make sure to use the keyword Summer Blitz in the comments section for $500 off internet price. That's keyword Summer Blitz.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sportz Blitz Live. We got a lot of comments coming in. We are going to get to those, Luke, but I know you wanted to finish what we were talking about.
Yeah, because really, I mean, and this is what we tried to do on the Locked On Bama podcast this week was like, yeah, okay, the officiating was bad. We're not saying anybody was doing it, but it was bad. But now let's move on because here's the thing. Just like we've been talking about, Alabama still had their shot. I mean, look, there's so many baffling things about that game, especially towards the end. Alabama gets way down in their territory. Well, not way down, but, I mean, they get to the 30-something, I guess the 33 because it was a 50-yard field goal. And they don't run the ball one time. They pass it 3 times. Now, the second down play is a nice little V pattern by Jahmyr Gibbs, who's usually very sure-handed. Bryce hits him with the pass. It wasn't the best pass he'd thrown all day, but it was hit him in both hands, and he dropped it. And, you know, if he catches it, he probably scores the way Tennessee's defense was aligned. But it's one of those things where it wasn't meant to be. And then on defense, instead of being either be more cautious or more aggressive, it felt like Alabama was right in the middle, and they let them have 2 big catches right in a row.
So I'm gonna throw this at you, and I want to talk real about Alabama and real about Auburn in the next hour.
And I want to do that, but I want to say one more thing before you do it. I'm sorry. One more thing is that Tennessee's a really good squad. I don't want any of this to take anything away from Tennessee. I can't stand people saying, you know, Tennessee right. No, Tennessee did what they were supposed to do. I thought Tennessee was very, very good. I don't think Alabama lost to it. Hendon Hooker looked great. The Hyatt kid looked great.
And, you know,
their offensive line, I'm going to tell you something, their offensive line stuffed our defensive line. There's no way around that, and I give Tennessee a ton of
The
credit.
moment was not too big for them.
No.
And look, so the point, I want you to ponder over this because you got to get the comments, got to get the phone call. You know, in the second hour, I want to ask you about this. Are you concerned a little bit about where Alabama is right now? Because they've had 3 really, really close football games, and they had a close game against Arkansas. I
was going to say 4.
Until a couple plays were broken by Milroe. You know, Texas game came right down to the end. Texas A&M came right down to the end. This game came right down to the end. They're not the benefactor of the win on this one, but they give up 52 points, which is – I've talked to a couple of Alabama guys this week, and they said that's concerning in itself. They're like, look, you know, we can complain and we can say all we want to about stuff. We gave up 52 daggum points, and we looked soft on defense.
Brett, we didn't give up 52 points in the 5 overtime game against Tennessee back in 2003. So, yeah, it's concerning. We hadn't given up 52 points since 1907.
But yet Nick Saban continues to like Pete Golden. And, you know, I mean, it goes back a couple of years where Alabama fans have been like, what is his enamoration? I mean, guy gets a DUI, seems like the golden child. I mean, it's like he can't do any wrong.
Well, I'll say this, that I think, you know, Alabama's defensive statistics were pretty incredible until – now, one other thing that's been a problem, of course, has been turnovers, like A&M. A&M's not in that ball game save for 2 Jalen Milroe fumbles.
That's right.
You know, right in Alabama territory or right on the 50. And so I think that Pete Golding hadn't been this game was not his best. You know, Tennessee was not his best.
It's not what you're going to put on the resume.
But overall, Golding's been pretty good. I mean, I'm not for firing somebody after one game, but I'm all for firing Bill O'Brien. I'm more of a Bill O'Brien detractor than a Pete Golden detractor.
Let's go to the phones.
Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
I want to go on live on TV, please.
You are. There's where you are.
You live.
I need to speak to you about the referee situation.
Okay.
I want to speak to y'all about the referee situation.
Okay.
Okay.
What about it?
It's the parents that has these kids in that's playing Little League.
Okay. It's the parents' fault? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I think it's because they're putting their kids up above the refs. The ref does a bad call, and the parents want to jump on the ref.
No. And I think, look, that's
been going on forever.
And first of all, I think that's a good point in the sense that in Little League and even on into high school, because we have seen some helicopter dads and some overprotective moms really get after some officials or some other players or whatever, or coaches, and that's just unacceptable. I think now that we're on the college level, though, if you're talking about the collegiate level, and especially now that the players are getting paid, I think that it's fair to say, hey, now more than ever, we got to get more of these calls right than we're going to always miss some. Just like there's always an interception, there's always a fumble.
Hey, I thought Nick Saban took the right aspect on. He didn't mention it. He's like,
he didn't mention it one time.
He said we got to figure out if we keep making mistakes, then we need to find somebody else to play those positions.
And he's absolutely right in here. But now the only thing he did say about it, he said, yeah, we thought it was targeting, and we have turned that in. Yeah, and that's what you do. That's all you can do, because in the end, you can complain all you want to. It's a W for Tennessee. It's a W.
And you move on.
But I think it's at the same time, it's okay to say that crew doesn't need to work anymore. We've seen enough bad stuff.
Everybody needs to be accountable. I mean, coaches are held accountable, players are held accountable. I think officials need to be held accountable, but I also say officials need to be paid a lot more than they're getting paid, because you know what? You can't point a finger at a guy, and we had an instance in a high school game the other night, and I won't say where the game was or who was there, but they said the line judge turned around and he missed a call, and they were kind of on his back, and he turned around and said, "This ain't my day job."
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, all right, well, what else we going to say? Hey, but we appreciate you calling in, okay?
Thanks for watching, buddy.
Hey, y'all have a good day, all
right?
Hey,
thank you so much. Real quick, some comments coming in. Appreciate this. Jim said, Luke, have you seen the new SEC short, Bama trying to escape
funny.
Knoxville? He says, pretty funny. Alabama high school refs get to pick by seniority which game they want to ref each Friday night. So most choose the high school profile games, not always the best ref, but the most seniority. Now, that's done by region. That's done by association. So somebody down in Dothan doesn't get to go up to Huntsville and call a game.
So is there one giant association with branches, or is there different associations everywhere?
There's okay. You choose what association you're going to be part of. But, yeah, everything's under the umbrella of the HSA. Okay. Anthony says, talk about an upset. How about my Mustangs? Talking about Stanhope getting a win over Pike Road. Almost no one saw that coming. That was a 14-13 win. That was only Stanhope's second win of the year. Jerry said Alabama's DB had their hands wrapped around Texas A&M's DBs. Well, how did they have? Okay, wide receivers, I think, all game last week, especially last play. But you clarified that it was tipped. Honestly, though, I'll put my home on the line that the calls favor Alabama this weekend.
And you know, that's as Alabama fans, we were talking about that. They were like, yeah, they're going to throw – I bet you Will Anderson draws about 6 holding flags because he hadn't drawn one all year. He's the best player in college football, hadn't drawn a holding flag, but he will against Mississippi State. If I'm Mike Leach, I'm already complaining.
Anthony comes back and says, especially considering when our quarterback had 5 interceptions on the night, our defense kicked tail, forced – wow, 5 interceptions.
5 interceptions for the Stanhope quarterback, and they still won 14-13?
That's crazy. I didn't know that. Jeez. All right, Jerry said, does Will Friend deserve any credit for that Tennessee offensive line? LOL. I'm going to say no on that. So, and that'll take us to the top of the hour break. Stay tuned. Second hour coming up right after this.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. with the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau tri-tunes, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
You don't have to ask who, what, or why. Who's Diner is the go-to place for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Conveniently located at the corner of Highway 22 and 280 in Alex City. Who's Diner offers the best meals and the best deals in town. Try our fresh, made-from-scratch pancakes, chicken salad, Philly cheesesteak, or the Who Burger. It doesn't get any better than who? Who's Diner, of course, on the corner of Highway 22 and 280. Who's hungry?
Forbes Auto Sales, located on Highway 280 in Kellyton, is all about selection and service. Selection of clean, sharp used cars, trucks, and SUVs selected by Robert Forbes himself. Service. Forbes Auto Sales is all about servicing vehicles on the lot, but also servicing your personal vehicle. Keep this in mind. If you don't see what you're looking for on the lot, just tell old Robert to go shopping for you. That's what he does. Personal service, and that's what it's all about at Forbes Auto Sales in Kellyton.
The same professionals you've trusted with your urgent care is now your primary health provider, Main Street Family Care. We provide annual physical exams as well as monitoring health conditions such as high blood pressure, diabetes, asthma, and more. All major insurances accepted, Medicaid, Medicare, and have self-pay options to accommodate everyone. See us at Alex City, just across from Walmart. Your care is our primary concern.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Why is Sarah Automotive Group on Highway 280 in Sylacauga the place for the best deals on your new ride? 3 compelling reasons. 1, with 3 full new car dealers on one lot, you get the best comparison and incentives on Fords, Hondas, and Nissans. Unmatched selection. 2, Sarah pays over market value for your trade to maintain East Central Alabama's best pre-owned vehicle selection and sales. And 3, the Sarah Automotive price won't be beat and delivers lower payments and huge value on your next buy. Shop online or on Highway 280 in Sylacauga.
Welcome back, everyone. Hour number 2 of Sportz Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Phone line's been lit up all night. Call us, 256-234-6221, to be part of the program. You also can comment away. A lot of you out there texting me, too, or listening. So that's what we're up here for, your entertainment, right, Luke? So we kind of got off. Hey, did get us clarification. A good friend of ours texted us, high school officials make $100 a game. SEC officials make $4,300 a game and get graded every week. So, and if they get too many bad grades, they get suspended. So, I mean, again, I don't know how that works and who's grading and what they're looking like, because they're obviously still hanging around. They've been a bad crew for a while.
That just seems like, again, somebody's got to explain.
Steve Shaw's still the head of officials in the SEC.
Is he?
I think he is.
I just don't see how that crew gets that game. Again, I think we can all live with the fact that, and again, my apologies to Vandy and Missouri fans, but if they get the worst crew on that particular day when there's big games in the SEC, I think everybody would be like, okay, we get that. You know, you got to get on-job training somewhere. But you don't want to do on-the-job training for Georgia, Tennessee,
No, you
Bama,
don't want to be
LSU.
thrown out there, and I don't think a guy wants to be put in that position. I mean, that's a lot of nerves, man. That's a lot on your back, and, you know, everybody's watching. I mean, millions watching on TV.
And look, I understand, too, about you talk about foul. You know, Rick Pitino used to have a theory, and Bruce Pearl sort of does this, too. Like, just a hand check. They're not going to call all of them.
Right.
And it can get kind of irritating, but that's right. And it's not their job to make it. You have 10 penalties and you have 10 penalties.
Yeah,
have
you
10
hear
fouls,
that all
have
the
10.
time when people go, "Hey, it's the official's job to make the call." Hey, you go in there and you hold him, and it's their job to catch.
That's right. Now, but I'm saying it's not their job to make it even either. Like,
no, it's not.
Like nobody's saying that. But I do think when it's 17-6, there's like, okay, 15-1 as you brought up.
15-1.
That seems like that's a big time outlier.
So you're telling me that team was that much better on that night than the other team? Now that's really what it says. I mean, and look, it doesn't mean that the other team didn't deserve their 15.
I totally agree.
So, but you're saying that they've only committed 1, and this team committed 15, and it was a touchdown game.
But regardless, in the end, it goes down as a victory. Tennessee deserved to win. There's no doubt in my mind about that. Give them the W. I think, hey, look, I think Tennessee's a fun team to watch. I think they're a good squad. I think they have a shot to go to Georgia and win. I'm not saying they will do it. And frankly, if they –
Georgia's not – I mean, let me just be honest about it. They're not the same offense.
No, and you know, that's another interesting point about this year. There's no team out there that looks unbeatable this year.
There's not.
There have been some years where you go, man, that's –
I mean, you look at Texas. All right, Texas ball stretches, had a chance to beat Alabama with a backup quarterback. And then the next week they get played off their feet by what? Texas San Antonio or whatever the crap it was. So, I mean, it just that's what you get in college football. Let's go around the SEC. And let's start with Auburn. Auburn Ole Miss, this is a team that Auburn has absolutely just dominated since the inception. I mean, they had won 36 of the last 39 meetings. They've only lost 3 times, now 4 in Oxford all time. The last 3 times they lost, or the 3 times they've lost, Auburn's fired their head coach. Will this be a 4th?
Yes.
Probably so. But here's the deal. Auburn gets down 21-0. If they don't get down 21-0 in this game, probably win the daggum thing. You know, but it played so bad coming out of the gate, and then all of a sudden there was a little bit of infighting going on the sideline. It really fired Robbie Ashford up. And look, let's hope as Auburn fans that we saw the last of T.J. Finley. Okay, for anybody out there talking about, hey, you know, we now know why T.J. Finley was our number 1 quarterback. Really? Are you kidding me? I mean, Robbie Ashford's not very good, but you're telling me you knew by a shadow of a doubt that T.J. Finley, he comes in the prime opportunity to get his job back because Robbie Ashford couldn't move with the team at all. And he comes out there and what does he do? The same T.J. Finley fumbles the daggum ball and then goes over on the sideline and looks stunned like the kid that got caught cheating in class.
Well, Brad,
you know, it's like, are you kidding? Did I drop the ball? I mean, and then he goes on Twitter and Snapchat or TikTok or whatever the crap he went on and makes this meme saying this is how I look when other quarterbacks in the SEC throw interceptions. Well, we all know it was a shot at Robbie Ashford. You know, this is his own teammate. So, look, as far as I'm concerned, he's done in an orange and blue jersey and should have probably never had one on to begin with. He's had more than his fair opportunities to be starting quarterback at LSU and at Auburn, and he can't get it done. So move on. Just get out.
Well, if Auburn had a little bit better offensive line, maybe T.J. Finley would be the guy because –
I don't
he
think
probably
he can
is
make
a
the
better
right
passer.
decisions, man. I just
But,
still
no,
don't
you're
think
right
he
about
make the
that
right
too.
decisions, man.
But if you don't have somebody mobile back there, it's just
Robbie Ashford's a lot more mobile than
that's
T.J.
what I mean.
Finley.
Robert Ashford is not very accurate. Robbie Ashford is not going to make – he's a one-read guy and then move on.
That's it.
But right now, that's what he needs to be because his decision-making isn't great either, but he's younger.
Right.
He's more mobile. And every now and again, you know, he set John Samuel Shanker up for a nice 20-some-odd yard gain. He hit Corey Moore for a nice game.
Yeah.
You know, he can have his moments. Now, you're going to have growing pains. But, I mean, I think that's the case with just about anybody. And then I think you have to give whoever is quarterback back there, you have to give them a little bit of a leeway because the offensive line is what it is.
No, it is.
It's worse than what it is.
Well, you got 88 plays for Ole Miss to 65 for Auburn. I mean, when there's that big a discrepancy and you run the football 69 times for 448 yards, you're gonna lose. I mean, it's amazing that the game was as close as it was. But I will say this about Lane Kiffin and David Jones on our program talked about this, and he broke it down, and he's a coach, and he knows from a scheme standpoint. He said, look, and I think Andy and Randy talked about it today about the roster difference, and Auburn's got 10 or 11 more 4-stars. They're deeper from a roster standpoint, but Ole Miss is undefeated, and they're moving upwards. Auburn is moving downwards, and, you know, they've been able to go out in the portal and get some players to kind of make up the difference. Lane Kiffin's really good at that. But where Lane Kiffin beat Auburn is that Auburn was able to move the ball and score points because they did maybe have better players, but they out-schemed Auburn, and they blocked better, and they did the fundamentals better, and that's coaching. So they got out-coached, and that's why Auburn lost the game in Oxford. So it's just one of those situations where, you know, you can come through here and you can analyze this daggum thing 6 ways to Sunday, but Auburn's not playing very well. Their players don't look coached up. The offensive line looks horrible, and the defense is as porous as I've ever seen. That's the thing that we all thought was going to be the strong suit of this team was the defensive line.
No, they have lost Echo Leota, but I don't think they were playing all that well with him.
Though,
yeah,
man.
I know. I don't think they were playing all that well with him. And again, look, once the Penn State thing happened, I mean, you got to feel like a lot of air went out of the tires.
Air went out of the balloon.
And,
I mean, it did.
And look, yes, I think Lane Kiffin is definitely a better coach than Brian.
I think he's a really good coach.
I think he certainly had a better game plan. But with this
team legit can finish 11-1 in my opinion.
I think
they
could finish 12-0.
I don't think they're going to beat Alabama.
Will, but I think they could.
Okay, did you see the graphic today? And this could happen. Georgia, Alabama, Ole Miss, and Tennessee
all have one loss.
All have one loss, and it just be a crossover, man. What you gonna do then?
Well,
with a playoff situation?
Okay. Let me tell you what. Let's just pretend that happens. I think what you do then, what that means is, just for everybody out there's edification, is that Tennessee will have lost to Georgia but beaten Alabama.
Correct.
Ole Miss will have lost to Alabama. Alabama will have lost Tennessee but beaten Georgia in the SEC
That's
title
correct.
game. You would take Alabama 100%. They won the SEC.
How do you not take Georgia?
And now you got 3 others, right? Ole Miss, I think, would be out because their schedule is so putrid. Their crossovers weren't even good. I mean, they don't have a win that makes you go.
No, I get it. I get it.
They're out. So you have Tennessee and Georgia, and then the question becomes, okay, do you take Tennessee because fresh blood? I guess is the only argument. But if Georgia had beaten them, it's head to head. I think you take Georgia and Alabama. Now again, people may not like to hear that, but I think you're going to take the champion of the SEC.
Do you think, and it's still out there, a possibility we could see an Ole Miss Tennessee SEC
we could
championship
see Ole Miss Tennessee, and they could both be undefeated. And then you
crazy.
take both of them.
It's wild. And then what you do with Alabama and Georgia?
Well, Alabama would have 2 losses.
losses.
Alabama would be out, and Georgia would have 1 loss. Tennessee, and I think that
I think they find a way to get them in there.
Well, I'll tell you
They're
what.
defending national champs.
They would get in there maybe if
that would be
if
3
Ole Miss
SEC teams.
If Ole Miss lost the SEC title game, and that was their only loss. But I think you might take Georgia because Georgia would have a loss Tennessee as well, and you would say Georgia's schedule. Georgia would have a big win over Oregon. That win's looking better and better. They would have wins over who else? They would have a win out of the East, Florida, I guess. They would have lost Tennessee, but at least they would have played somebody.
Right.
Ole Miss would have played very few teams worth the
Auburn,
their salt.
unfortunately, is not helping either one of them this year.
No.
In the past, they would.
No.
That would be a big win, but not this year.
Yeah.
Up against another break. Stay tuned. More Sportz Blitz Live right after this.
No monthly payments till after the holidays. At Glenn Smith in Opelika.
Enjoy big discounts on Chevrolet Buick and GMC SUVs. How about a brand new Chevrolet Buick or GMC with no payments till next year? New Chevy Equinox as low as $329 a month. New Buick Enclaves up to $5,000 off. New GMC Terrains up to $6,000 off.
Get 0% financing, no payments till next year at Glenn Smith in Opelika. Get ready to smile.
There's only one clear choice in the Lake Martin area for plumbing, heating, and air. That's All Clear Plumbing and Air. Our professionally trained technicians offer full service repair and installation on all major brands. From drips to water heaters, thermostats to entire air conditioning and heating systems, and everything in between. Our fast, reliable, and guaranteed top-notch customer service will keep you informed and up to speed through the entire process. Call us today or look for us on Facebook and Instagram at All Clear Plumbing and Air, 256-496-2056. License number 19172.
I'm Jimmy Goree with Goree's Furniture. We would like to invite you to come shop our huge selection of furniture. But if you don't have time, we have over 2,000 items you can have shipped directly to your home. Go to GoreesFurniture.com, look for 48-hour quick ship. Shop, click, ship, it's just that easy. You can shop us here or you can shop us online, only at Gorey's Furniture.
Your express way to saving.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto. Central to you, central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sportz Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. A couple of more segments to go here in hour number 2. And, again, you can get your comments in. We'd love to hear from you on Facebook. You can call us. First hour was jam-packed with callers. And we do appreciate all of you that watch and call, and even the ones of you that text, that don't want to be on the air, that send us information. We love that, and we appreciate it.
Let me tell you a weird stat. I saw that Brad Edwards tweeted out, and it's one of those things, and I like unexplained mysteries. You know, look, I did this analogy on Locked On Bama, and I don't know how well it went over because I botched it so poorly. But, all right, so you remember when in Phantom Menace, the Star Wars, the Phantom Menace, that they measured Anakin Skywalker's midichlorians to see what kind of Jedi he was, or how many my point was, see, I always thought being a Jedi was like something was intangible. You couldn't really put your hand around it. It was just like you had it or you didn't.
Yep.
Well, the Star Wars made it where it was like a thing that you can measure his blood and see whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, that's stupid. I don't want to know that. I like the Bermuda Triangle being an unsolved mystery. I kind of like the mystique of it. This had mystique to me, and there's no way somebody can scientifically tell me that this makes sense. In the last 4 years, that's not bad though. In the last 4 years, Alabama's opposition kickers, do you know what they are? They're 61 of 67, 92%. College kickers are, if you got a college kicker and you're like, he's 78%, you're like, I'll take him.
Yeah.
It's not bad. The opponents that Alabama plays are 61 of 67, and I can't explain it for the life of me.
58 of them in Auburn.
I know. I can't explain it. We're 61 of 67 the other way. We're 6 of 67.
Y'all hadn't taught your kickers that it's supposed to go between not on the outside. So
it's the dangest thing.
But I really thought y'all had a good kicker in Will Riker.
He is good.
But like you said, the last couple of weeks, he hadn't been so good. And now with a kicker, guess what he's doing? He's thinking about all this stuff. And that's going to carry with him. His last kick was what? A miss in a big game that ended a streak of 15 consecutive wins for Alabama. That's all in his mind right now. I don't care who you are, where you are. That's exactly what Will Riker is thinking about, is like, I blew it. I had a chance to win the game, and I didn't do it. And it don't matter that I'd made 25 others in a row leading up to that I missed this, and it just builds on kickers, man. Look, it is the most stressful It's got to be the most stressful position. And everybody goes, well, they don't have to do a lot during practice. I know, but most of the time they determine a game. You know, whether it's an extra point or whether it's a field goal, and you're trying to drive down, and you don't have to have a touchdown, but you can kick a field goal to win it. There's an immense amount of pressure on those guys.
There's no doubt. And look, it's you hate it for him, but that's why I go back
Andres
and say,
Carlson's struggling this year.
That's why I go back and say, why is Bill O'Brien throwing it 3 straight times when we're on the 33? Let's run it 3 straight times, get it to the 29. Get 4 yards, get to the 29. It's that much closer now. Get to the middle of the field, too, because he was off to the right.
Right.
But, you know, it's just and sometimes you're destined to lose, Brett, because I'm going to tell you, that kick – That
was ugly. It was ugly.
I don't know if it was tipped or just flat out.
No, it wasn't tipped.
Well, you know, there's debate if Byron Young got his hand on it. I don't know if anybody's ever actually asked him, but it looks like he almost might have tipped it.
Well, he jumped over. I thought they were going to eat the ball. I'm like, how did he get it over his head?
I thought he tipped it because of the way it was doing, but I don't know. Regardless, it went over, and sometimes it's not your night.
No,
it just wasn't Alabama's night.
It is not your night. Hey, I know we've kind of been all them out. We're going to start in the SEC games other than Alabama and Auburn's this week. Mississippi State kind of is becoming what we thought they might be. You know, what Rodgers is – what did he do? He set the all-time completions in a lot fewer games, but Kentucky got Will Levis back, and
he's got another year and a half.
I know. In 27-17, Kentucky wins that game. You know, Mississippi State's just going to be Mississippi State under Mike Leach. And that's just who he is.
Brett, he's 16-15 since he's been at Mississippi State.
Thanks to Auburn.
His biggest win is probably the win over LSU, his first SEC game, when LSU was defending national champ. You know, it just is what it is. If Mississippi State is fine being an 8-win team, then he's the perfect coach for you.
And I think they are. Because I don't know that they're much – and, again, it's not a cut on them, but that's what their program's been most of existence.
But now, see, Dan Mullen gave them – the problem is now they've had a taste.
They've
had a taste.
Yeah, but then Dan Mullen went down to one of the most talent-rich states in the country and couldn't win.
But once you've had that taste, it's hard to let it go. I mean, like they've been Brett, they were in the first ever –
right.
College football playoff projection.
You want me to tell you what the problem is still with Mississippi State? And it's this stat right here. 22 rushing yards.
Yeah.
Mike Leach is not going – and I said this when Randy was talking about, I like the guy. I think he brings a dynamic. I think he's going to be successful. And it wasn't just Randy. It was a lot of other people. I said he'll never be successful in this league because he doesn't like to run the football. You cannot run however many plays they ran in this game and only have 22 rushing yards. You're not going to beat good football teams. And
I think they only ran it 12 times.
I mean, it's just it's like they don't try. No wonder he broke the record. I mean, when you throw it every single play, every game, you're going to break the record. So, I mean, Mississippi State's just who they are. And, you know, unfortunately, you know, for Kentucky, I know they lost the game to South Carolina, which kind of was a stain on their season.
And let me tell you what's coming up this weekend. Texas A&M is traveling to South Carolina. And it wouldn't shock me at all if South Carolina wins that game.
Because Texas A&M's been hanging by a thread.
They're middle of the road. But, boy, you know, all of a sudden, South Carolina could be 5-2 if they get that win.
Yeah, who saw that coming? Arkansas at BYU. You know, it was good to get Jefferson back, 29 of 40, 367 yards, and 5 touchdowns. They had 644 total yards of all. You're talking about no defense at all. 12 of 15 on third downs. Just everything you could ask for offensively went right for Arkansas, and they needed that win because things were rolling off the track pretty bad for them. That kind of helped them, even though it was out of conference. It kind of got them in the right direction. LSU at Florida, I can't believe I didn't see a single play of that game. We had a lot going on Saturday, and there were other games going on, and and I just looked up, and that game was over, and I didn't see a single play of it. So I mean, I saw
Anthony Richardson had another nice run.
I did see that run.
Yeah, but they just can't. I think he threw a late interception, and LSU gets it back, and They kick another field goal to make it a 2-score game, and all of a sudden it's,
But where's LSU come from? 28 first downs in this game, 349 passing yards. If they somehow don't lose that game to Florida State, they all of a sudden, they're down 17-0 to Auburn. On the flip side, this thing could be a lot worse for them. I mean, it's just very odd, the season that they're having right now.
You talk about or FSU, they could have easily beaten FSU.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
Who was the other team they lost to? Tennessee. They got buried.
No, they got murdered, but that would be their only loss. So, Georgia, no problem with Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's just bad all the way around. They only had 150
But give them credit. They did surpass their projected win total.
Yeah. Early.
I mean, take it.
Whatever,
take a gold medal wherever you can get one, bro.
Yeah, that's a recap of the SEC from this past Saturday. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live right after this.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
Hey, it's Brett Pritchard, and I'm here to tell you all about Sims Foods, who you know better as Wickles Pickles. Wickles Pickles, that 90-year-old recipe, wickedly delicious. Relish, okra, and pickles. From Saturday sandwiches, tailgate snacks, to holiday dinners with your family and friends. From their family to yours, Wickles Pickles, those wickedly delicious pickles.
Wickles Pickles, wickedly delicious pickles.
Okay, somebody's not wearing their seatbelt.
I don't wear seatbelts. Might wrinkle my shirt.
That's okay. I'm sure they can iron it before the funeral.
What funeral?
Yours. Almost 70% of people who die in car crashes aren't wearing a seatbelt.
Okay. There. You happy?
Just happy to be alive.
Seatbelts. It's hard to live without them. Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Life is a sequence of little successes. The story of my Southern Union success began the day I walked on campus, making new friends, mastering a new skill, reaching a personal goal, the encore performance, the first date, the internship, and now, soon, the dream job. That's the story of my Southern Union success. Register for classes and get ready to watch your Southern Union story come to life.
When you need an automotive hero, you got to call S&S Discount Tire Pros. With locations in Alexander City and Dayville, we are here to serve you today. From quick services like oil changes and tire rotations to in-depth automotive repairs such as suspensions, brakes, and tune-ups, S&S can take care of all your tire needs. You just have to focus on what's important and love the drive. Call S&S Discount Tire Pros today. We are automotive heroes, and we are here to serve you.
It's truck season at Glen Smith in Opelika.
We have an excellent selection of Chevrolet Silverados and GMC Sierras with giant October discounts and no payments till next year. New Chevrolet Silverados up to $7,500 off. GMC Sierras up to $8,500 off.
No payments till next year during truck season at Glen Smith in Opelika. Get ready to smile.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Did you know it's week 10 of the HSA scoreboard show coming up this Friday night? Week 10.
It's amazing.
How fast?
I'll be there this week, so I'm looking forward to it. Big weekend.
Yeah, it is a big weekend. I want to run down. There's a big game in every classification moving forward. I know there's more than just one big game, but these are the ones that stand out. We'll start down in 1A. Leroy undefeated at Milry, 8-1. That's a huge region game. That'll be for a region championship there. In 2A, you've got, let's see, who was it? Real Town at Highland Home. Real Town 6-1, Highland Home's 9-0. that is for a region championship as well. Reeltown, after losing the first game of the year to Tallahassee, they have just really rejuvenated themselves. Really hadn't had many close games since then. In 3A, you look down here, and Randolph County and Dayville. That Randolph County team 8-0, Dayville 7-0. That's for a region championship. That's a huge game. Dayville has a chance. If they get past Randolph County, finish an undefeated season. I know Randolph County's trying to do the same thing, but Dayville's program the last few years hadn't been where they would like it to be, but they're knocking on the door of an undefeated season and a number one seed going into the playoffs. 4A, Catholic Montgomery might actually have a close one. They go to Andalusia, both 9-0 teams.
That'll be tough.
Catholic hadn't had a close game.
Yep.
But how will a team react? This is a good thing for Catholic. You know, they've really blown everybody out. But on the road in a hostile environment, if they're in a close game, how do they handle that?
It's important to see, and that's why you want to have something like this going into the playoffs.
Absolutely, and they're going to get that test. In 5A, Faith Academy is 7-1. They'll be at UMS Wright 8-0. Huge game down there in the Baldwin County area. In 6A, we talked about several games that are big, but let's look at it real quick. It's that Saraland and Theodore game, and both are undefeated. That'll be for a region championship, but Theodore came to Opelika and put it on them. A lot of people are picking Theodore in this game,
and they probably should. And Saraland's just so young. I mean, they're so young and talented. This is a team that's going to be around a while.
Oh yeah, I mean they're gonna have a lot to say about what goes on in the south part of the 6A bracket for sure. 7A, no brainer here. Hoover goes to Thompson. Thompson's 2 losses are out of state. Hoover is 8-1. What do you think?
Boy, I'm just not going to pick against Thompson. I saw Hoover at the beginning of the year lose to Auburn. I just think Thompson still has more talent, so I'll stick with Thompson right now.
You look at a situation here, they'll probably have to play each other again in a few weeks, Luke. That's what it's been the last couple of years. You know, meet at the last game of the season or last region game, and then a few weeks into the playoffs, because there's only 4 rounds in 7A,
that's right.
They'll see each other possibly in the 3rd round again.
Yep. Crazy.
So that's a rundown there of some of your top games around the state here locally in Alex City. Ben Russell 6-2 at Helena 6-2, and there's a lot riding on that game for both teams. If Benjamin Russell wins, they're the number 2 seed in that region. If Helena loses, they're out. I mean, they can go from being the number 2 seed and defending region champs to just out of it. That's how playoffs go with tiebreakers and all that in these regions, Luke. So, but it's hard to believe we're already talking about playoff football. But you'll want to tune in on the HSA scoreboard show this coming Friday from 10 to midnight, run down all of these games. I know you and JJ will have highlights and people that'll be calling in to talk about those specific games. I'm excited about it. It's going to be a really, really fun time. All right, let's go forward into this coming Saturday around the country as far as games on tap. This past weekend, like Luke said, was a phenomenal weekend of college football. Can it top it this week? We'll see. Syracuse remains undefeated. Big win for them. Number 14, they'll go to Clemson 7-0. They're number 5 team in the country. Clemson getting 13.5 there. What do you think, Syracuse? Can they go into Clemson and win that football game?
Now, Syracuse beaten them in the past, but I think it was at Syracuse. I like this Syracuse team, but they're not. I mean, it's really like watching. I'll tell you what it's like watching, bro. It's like watching a 7A team play a 4A team. Doesn't mean 4A is not good. Doesn't mean that at all.
Just means they're overmatched.
They're just probably overmatched, depth-wise, speed-wise. You know, it's just it's not really a fair fight. I would be shocked if Syracuse won this game.
UCLA is undefeated. Are you shocked that UCLA is undefeated at this point?
I wouldn't say shocked because now that I've seen some of these other teams play out. I mean,
finally, Chip Kelly getting
Utah's
it going
not,
at UCLA?
Well, they're still – I wouldn't say they're very good yet. I mean, they didn't have a very good non-conference. They did beat Utah at home, and they beat them pretty soundly.
Can they go to Autzen Stadium and beat Oregon?
I think that's going to be tough. Oregon's playing really well. I mean,
Bo Nix is
I never thought I'd say this. Bo Nix is looking good. I mean, he's completing 70% of his passes.
And I mean, it's amazing what an offensive line will do for you.
Offensive line, and I think he's got better receivers.
You know, after that, I mean, they looked horrible against Georgia.
Oh, it got routed.
And then it looked like, here we go, man, this is terrible. But he's he's rallied the troops. They're number 10 in the country. UCLA's number 9. Oregon -6 in this game at home at 2:30 on Fox.
I hate that game's at 2:30. I really hate the way Fox handles their games. The primetime game being the 11 o'clock slot. I get it because they want to try and lead people into their version of college game day.
Yeah, they're just trying to do that, yeah.
But at the same time, like Alabama, Texas at 11 o'clock was just brutal. Michigan, Penn State this past weekend at 11 o'clock, just stupid to me.
Just takes away the feel.
And now Ohio State, Iowa is their 11 o'clock game. That feels like an 11 o'clock game.
Yeah.
But see, Oregon, UCLA, it's not fair to the people out there because while it's 2:30 for us, it's what? It's
12:30.
12:30 for them. It's just it's just not good. I mean, let them have the night game.
Texas at Oklahoma State. That's a number 20 versus a number 11, and Texas is favored in this game on the road.
They're favored by 6. You know, Oklahoma State lost last week. Boy, I have a hard time saying that Texas is 6 points better than Oklahoma State, though. I mean, I kind of feel like this is a good pick for Oklahoma State.
Yeah, no, Oklahoma State.
If you want to take a dog, this would be the one I would take.
Kansas State, number 17 team in the country at TCU. TCU winning against Oklahoma State last week. That's a number 17 versus a number 8. 3.5-point favorite for TCU at home. It's basically a pick 'em.
Yeah, and eventually we're going to start taking TCU a little bit more seriously. I mean, if they beat Kansas State, who Adrian Martinez has been playing great for them. He's got no interceptions and 4 touchdowns in the air all year long.
Amazing what rejuvenation he's had leaving Nebraska.
But it's all running. Like if you can stop the run game, Kansas State's. But you got to be able to stop the run game. It's easier said than done.
Well, here's your SEC schedule: Vanderbilt at Missouri. Ooh.
I see that crew can work that game. That's a perfect game. I would just say y'all just go ahead and get your tickets now. Y'all going to work that one.
An interesting game, like you mentioned. Texas A&M's got to go to South Carolina. That's at 6:30 on SEC Network. Texas A&M a 3.5-point favorite on the road, but I'm telling you, I'm with you. South Carolina.
I really like South Carolina
at home.
And look,
it's 6:30.
And boy, and you want to talk about coming home to the heat because Jimbo Fisher then would be 3-4,
He ain't really
and
he's got $86 million.
No, well that's true.
They want to put heat on him.
The heat comes from all that money covering him up.
He said Texas Pete's got to eat.
But the next week they play Ole Miss at home,
right?
You know, and so that's what's funny about Ole Miss LSU. I'm sure you're about to say
that's the next one on tap.
That's an interesting contest. LSU is a 1.5-point favorite.
You know, this will determine if Ole Miss can make this run. You know, down the stretch. I mean, this is not a grand LSU team, but again, Ole Miss sitting there with an undefeated mark. LSU's look vulnerable. Their record could be worse than it is, but they've been able to weather the storm, and they find themselves 3-1 in the SEC right now. So, 1.5-point favorite for LSU at home. Do you like Ole Miss to go in and get this win?
Boy, I don't know. You don't know what LSU team you're going to get. I mean, you just don't know. And I'm not a big believer. Again, I'm not thinking Ole Miss has got some talent. I think the play calling's been brilliant at times. But in the end, I think Ole Miss is just a little better than normal Ole Miss teams. They just hadn't played anybody. I mean, they scored 35 in the first half against Tulsa, then had to fight to the end to beat them. They've looked okay.
Yeah, they're mistake prone, no doubt about it. And they made several mistakes against Auburn. They were able to survive it.
I'll tell you what, if Tank Bigsby could play Ole Miss every single game, though, he'd be an All-American. I mean, that guy. I mean, he's got to have at least. He's had at least three 100-yard games against him.
Yeah,
right?
It's just it's funny. Some guys just have that one team they like to play, and that's definitely Tank Bigsby's. All right, Mississippi State at Alabama. Auburn's obviously got the week off,
and Arkansas does too. But Mississippi State, not a good time to go to Tuscaloosa at 6 o'clock at night on ESPN. And what's weird, they're going to send Kirk Herbstreit and Chris Fowler to do that game.
Wow.
They did that last year for Alabama LSU, and that made a little sense to me. Alabama LSU, it's got a little cachet, whatever. But this game, it just seemed a little weird that they're doing that.
Yeah, Mississippi State, 21-point underdog, and I think Alabama covers. I do. I really do.
It wouldn't shock me because I'll tell you something. Alabama's played Mississippi State twice since Mike Leach has been there. You know what the combined score is?
It's a lot to none.
90-9.
They shut them out last year.
Shut them out 2 years ago.
Okay, 2
last
years
year
ago.
they only
All
scored
right.
9.
Okay.
It was 41-9, and the year before that, no, it was 49-9, and the year before that it was 41-0.
Well, not a good time if you're a Mississippi State Bulldog. Just lost to Kentucky and probably going to take a tail whipping this Saturday. Up against the break, when we come back, we're going to test Luke's knowledge again on Dead or Alive. It's his favorite segment. Andy loves to bring this one up, and we'll see how much he knows. Stay tuned. More Sportz Blitz Live right after this.
Have you stopped by Lifesavers Mission Thrift Store lately? If you haven't, you should. You'll find great pieces for your favorite do-it-yourself project. Lightly used name brand clothing by Free People, North Face, Matilda Jane, Patagonia, and a whole lot more. And while you're there, don't miss the shoes, decorative pieces, classic and new books, and Auburn and Alabama gear that won't cost you a fortune. So stop and shop at Lifesavers Mission Thrift Store today for a unique thrift experience that won't break the budget. Lifesavers Mission Thrift, located on East University behind Zaxby's.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau Tritoons, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Planting season is here, and the Potting Shed Garden Center is happy to give you professional landscaping advice when it comes to planting your shrubs and trees. Auburn's best kept secret will have it all this fall. Mums, pansies, pumpkins, and much more. All an array of colors and sizes, along with beautiful pots and containers, indoor plants, and a great selection of other gardening gifts. It's all at the Potting Shed Garden Shop, where natural elements reign supreme. Located on the corner of Moore's Mill and Society Hill Road in Auburn.
Now is the best time to sell your current home, as it's a seller's market, meaning that on average you can get up to 96% of your asking price. Who's the most aggressive and most experienced to help you sell your home?
Hi, I'm Rhonda Gaskins, broker Century 21 Lake Area Realty in the Lake Martin area. We are getting a 96% return on our listing price to sales price in this area. Call me today and let me go to work for you. 256-749-3644.
GillsOpelika.info. Get pre-approved in minutes online at GillsOpelika.info for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV from Gills Auto Sales, 1430 Gateway Drive in Opelika.
Welcome back, everyone. Only a couple more segments left in tonight's show. Now a little bit of fun. We'll test Luke's knowledge here on Dead or Alive. I beat you so bad last time that he didn't give me a chance to do it again. So you missed on almost everyone. So you got a chance of solo redemption here.
All right,
solo redemption.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So Dead or Alive, Whitey Ford. Do you know who Whitey Ford is?
Yeah, he's a manager for the Chicago White Sox.
That's right. Right.
I'm gonna say he's dead.
You're right. Ding, ding, ding.
I mean, well, he was 1,000 when he was managing.
off to a grand.
He didn't have one of those little thing managers scribbling. He had scrolls.
Parchment paper. All right. He borrowed a piece from the Constitution. He said, "Give me that spare piece." All right. Mean Joe Green, obviously one of the better football players of all time.
I feel like he's been dead for quite some time. And am I right?
And you're wrong.
I'm wrong, dang
Mean
it.
Joe Green is
Mean
still
Joe
alive.
Green's still
He's
alive.
still drinking Coke, man.
Brett, first of all,
Coke and a smile.
Why hadn't somebody done more with him if he's still alive?
Well, probably he might not be able to do much right now. I mean, You know, he was playing in an era where it was like you barely had any pads on, and he was like one of the toughest SOBs that's ever played the game.
He wasn't nice, Joe Green.
He wasn't nice, Joe Green. So, but he's still there, man. He's still hanging on.
I can't believe he's alive.
I don't know what I wonder how old
I
he
want to
is.
check on that one tomorrow. Ask me this tomorrow.
You're questioning the answer.
No,
the answer sheet.
I'm saying,
there.
give me a 24-hour window on Mean Joe Green. I might end up being right.
All right, Ed Too Tall Jones.
He's dead.
He is not dead.
God almighty.
He's still tall and in charge.
He's less tall. He's slumped over a little bit.
So now you're 1 for 3.
Okay.
So you've hit a streak here. Lou Brock.
He's a baseball player.
Yeah,
I don't know much about him. I'm going to say dead.
He is dead.
Okay.
That's why you don't
All
know
the
much
baseball
about-
players. How are all the football players alive? All the baseball
I thought
players
it was
dead.
supposed to be right opposite of that. All right, you're going to get this one because this Bill Russell.
Didn't he recently die?
He did.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was about to say, don't miss this one.
Yeah, he recently
just
died.
passed
Like
away.
in the last 8 months.
So the NBA and the baseball players, Major League Baseball
Yeah, I know.
players die, and football
all the
players
CTA.
who just absolutely beat the hell out of each other are hanging
Can't
on.
put the shoes on, but they're still kicking.
Larry Holmes.
I think he's dead. Ain't no way he's alive after
I
all
think
those
he's
hits.
alive. He is
Oh, God almighty. How are the boxers?
Yeah. Whitey Ford. I'm sorry. Whitey Ford was a pitcher for the Yankees. That's right.
Who am I thinking of?
Now you were thinking of. I know which one you're thinking of. He
Was that somebody else for it?
No, it's Sparky Anderson.
Sparky.
That's who you were thinking of as far as now I don't know if Sparky.
Well,
dead.
he was still dead.
That's right. That's exactly right. So, anyway, you had me
Look,
off
I'm going to
the
be
bat
honest.
on that,
If,
so.
I don't think it's not all that PC to have the nickname Whitey right now anyway.
No,
I
it's
don't think
not.
that's perfect.
All right, Richard Petty, known NASCAR aficionado.
He's dead.
Richard Petty is alive.
Jesus.
And just to confirm, Sparky Anderson is dead.
So really, I
another
get 2
major-
on that one.
you
I get 2 on that one. Because that's bonus points.
All right, so Sparky is dead as a hammer, according to Andy there. Okay. So, all right, Say Hey Willie Mays.
The Say Hey Kid?
Say Hey Kid.
He's dead.
He is alive.
There's no way he's alive. I've got to see.
All these guys have drank from the fountain of youth.
Brett, there's no way. All the highlights are him using a glove made out of corn husks. They didn't even invent leather back then.
He's still there, man.
Ain't no way.
All right, Harmon Killebrew, another baseball player.
All right, look, eventually one of them's got to be dead. He's dead.
He's dead.
Okay, thank you.
There you go. You're the guy that said, I'm going to mark C on all these eventually. I mean, one of them's got to be C. It's like the guy that walks up to the roulette wheel. Eventually, it's got to hit red. No, it don't.
No, I know. I
It
said
does
that's
have
what
to
I've
hit
always
red.
said.
All right, so
see, the one time I wouldn't pick C, I'd be like, okay, it ain't C, I'll go B. I'll see you that time.
Okay, ain't no C out the door. All right, here we go. Pele. I would have missed this one.
Well,
I would have missed this one.
Well, I'll tell you something. He was in that. What was that movie with Sylvester Stallone? That was a long time ago in the 80s.
I guess.
Andy will know what I'm talking about.
Of course
They had to play soccer to play their way out of a prison.
Yes.
It's the dumbest premise I've ever heard. I'd rather just go into prison. I didn't watch a soccer game.
So is he dead or alive?
He's dead.
No, he is
Got him,
not.
matey.
Pele is still kicking. No pun
Literally.
intended.
I bet he ain't kicking.
He could be. He did that bicycle kick. He said, "Let me show you what I do." What did Toby Keith say? I'm as good. as I
I'm
once
as
was.
good. I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever
That's
was.
exactly right. So, all right, last one. Actually, 2 more. I'm sorry. Gordie Howe,
Hockey player.
hockey player.
You're going to tell me he's alive, but I'm going to say dead.
He is dead.
Okay.
Gordie Howe.
God almighty. I
Not
mean, he
with
took
us anymore.
pucks to the head.
He did. All right, here we go. Last one. Dick Butkus, one of the toughest.
Okay.
meanest-
The only reason I know this
Okay.
is because he celebrated a birthday today.
Oh,
Dick
okay.
Butkus is alive.
Dick Butkus is alive.
Yep.
At last we checked. So there you go. I mean, Mean Joe Green's still alive. Dick Butkus is still alive. Ed Too Tall Jones is still alive. Them guys played in the era where, I mean, it was a thin piece of plastic, dude. Seriously.
It's
Anyway.
amazing. It is amazing. Like, maybe they just knew how to tackle safer. Like, still hit you hard.
Yeah, but it wasn't as.
But tackle safer.
Well, most of those face masks weren't even a face mask, so they're like, I ain't running in there with my face on somebody.
They just had one
They
little
just had
bar.
one little bar across. I mean, yeah.
Who thought that was a good idea?
Who thought that the leather helmet was a good idea? What did that do way back when? That made it worse, didn't it? That hurt worse than
You'd think. I mean, it is amazing, though, that those guys are still alive.
It's really unbelievable. Last segment of the show coming up right after this.
Concrete Basement and Walls, LLC, 205-229-0234. Call owner Eric McKenzie now to get your free quote now. 205-229-0234. Concrete Basement and Walls, LLC.
So, you finally got the boat, ATV, or side-by-side of your dreams, huh? But make it yours with marine-grade audio that'll provide crisp, high-quality sound that's loud enough to be heard, whether you're cruising on the lake or hitting a mud hole. Come see Steve at the Car Stereo Shop in Auburn, so you'll be ready to crank up the volume. Whoa, but wait, you don't have to pull out of the water and trailer it to Auburn. The Car Stereo Shop can handle all of your work at any one of the Lake Martin marinas.
Finding a job might be tough, but starting your new career has never been easier. Wellborn Cabinet in Ashland has a wide array of career opportunities with benefits. General labor production, skilled cabinet builders, product assembly line, shipping, over-the-road truck drivers, clerical, marketing, security, daycare, office clerks, and so much more. Apply in person, 38669 Highway 77 South in Ashland, or online at wellborn.com. Building cabinets, building careers, and building our community.
At Russell Medical, we're proud of our exceptional nurses, like Nurse Brandy Worthy. Brandy represents the selfless, compassionate clinical leader patients expect and coworkers admire. Brandy was recently honored with the Nightingale Award for Nursing Excellence for her high standards, sound judgment, and caring manner. Her passion for her profession inspires us all.
Being a nurse is not just what you do, it's who you are. I'm proud to be a part of the nursing team at Russell Medical. We are the link between all hospital services, providing you with exceptional, personalized care.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
Concrete Basement and Walls, LLC, 205-229-0234. Call owner Eric McKenzie now to get your free quote now. 205-229-0234. Concrete Basement and Walls, LLC.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sportz Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and
Blitz
Grill.
dead.
Sportz Blitz dead. That's dead or alive. I think he did okay. I mean,
better than normal.
Yeah, but some of these guys, man, I would have missed too.
Well, I
definitely would have missed Pele.
I usually go 90% dead. I mean, because like in my mind, some of those people that are alive, they shouldn't be.
Well, they've.
I'm like, let's circle back in a week and see if I can get it right.
They've outlived. They've outlived the odds, no doubt about it. All right, airing of grievances. I mean, I think we kind of used the first hour on that with officiating and all. But look, I really do think that it goes down to there is a problem with the pay scale there versus all the other things that we pay for. And we complain more about what in sports? Officiating. If we want better, look, pay's not going to automatically make things better, but it's going to It's going to attract a better pool to pick from. That's just the bottom line. There is not a line of people lining up, to my knowledge, to go into officiating. I mean, the Alabama High School Athletic Association is just begging people to want to come into this, and it should be that. You should not have to do that. You should have a overabundance of people that are ex-athletes, that love the game, that love the sport, that say, look, this is how I can stay active and I can continue to live in the sport. But you got people going, man, people are crazy now. People are running out of stands. They're meeting us out in the parking lot, and they threaten to kill me, my children, burn my house down. I'd just rather sit at home and listen to the game.
And I do think it's also fed a little bit by the media to some extent, in the sense that, you know, you go back to some of these roughing the passer in the NFL,
right?
You know, that I think that, or Gary Danielson, he's a great example to me. I mean, look, he's pretty good at color commentary,
right?
But man, when he interjects about any officiating call, whether it's right or wrong or whatever, he sort of fuels the fire. Like, he'll talk about it for a while.
He's feeding the flame,
you know, and he's really sort of making it worse. And look, we all should just remember, hey, it is, you know, at the same time everybody says it's just a game. Well, it's a big business now. It's not just a game anymore.
I think that is the most overused analogy. Yeah. That is not just a game by any stretch. Now,
the 6-year-olds I'm coaching, that's a game. But Alabama, Tennessee, Auburn, LSU, those aren't games anymore.
No, they're major businesses, and the NCAA made it that way, and that's just how it is. That's going to wrap it up for this edition of Sportz Blitz Live. Again, Auburn Blitz on the rest of the week. Saturday Sports Countdown be on 7 o'clock. Bright and early Saturday morning. Don't forget the HSA Radio Network Scoreboard Show with Luke and JJ at 10 o'clock p.m. on Friday night. Big games all the way across the state. A lot of playoff berths will be decided. A lot of region champions will be decided this coming Friday. That's going to wrap it up. For Luke, I'm Brett saying we've enjoyed it. We hope you have. See you next time.
Tails are wagging and pets are bragging about Zoom to Groom. Columbus, Phoenix City, and Smith Station. Zoom to Groom comes to you. It's mobile pet grooming from the comfort of your driveway. Schedule your appointment now online at zoomtogroom.net or by phone at 334-740-9909.
So you want to build a home? Build the home you want with America's Home Place. Choose from over 150 floor plans. Then personalize. Tile back splash with granite countertops? Done. A spacious bathroom you've always dreamed of? You got it. Choose every detail. Floors, cabinets, even the paint color.
How about electric lime?
Can't decide? Relax. At America's Home Place, we take care of it all. It's your home. Own it. America's Home Place.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
Are you looking for something really good for lunch? Are you tired of the same old fast food? Well, go to Buck's. Get a meat and 2 sides or a meat and 3 sides for the best deal in town. Buck's always serves up the best food, including fried chicken, wings, hamburger steaks, catfish, shrimp, and yes, of course, the famous Buck Cheeseburger Basket. And Buck's has dinner specials too. So if it's your turn to cook dinner, Buck's will be glad to do it for you. We appreciate your business and look forward to serving you.
Tails are wagging and pets are bragging about Zoom to Groom. Columbus, Phoenix City, and Smith Station. Zoom to Groom comes to you. It's mobile pet grooming from the comfort of your driveway. Schedule your appointment now online at zoomtogroom.net or by phone at 334-740-9909.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our Best Rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Why is Sarah Automotive Group on Highway 280 in Sylacauga the place for the best deals on your new ride? 3 compelling reasons. 1. With 3 full new car dealers on one lot, you get the best in comparison and incentives on Fords, Hondas, and Nissans. Unmatched selection. 2. Sarah pays over market value for your trade to maintain East Central Alabama's best pre-owned vehicle selection and sale. And 3. The Sarah Automotive price won't be beat and delivers lower payments and huge value on your next buy. Shop online or on Highway 280 in Sylacauga.